When you rise in the morning and look at your life, what do you see? Many people see limitation. Many people see impossibility. Many people see what they lack, what they lost, what they fear. But a king does not wake up and study his weakness. A king studies his authority. A king studies the power placed in his hands. A king studies the territory he has been given to rule. When your mind begins to think like a king, you attract a kind of life that bows before confidence, not fear, faith, not doubt, vision, not confusion. Everything in life begins to adjust itself to the posture of a kingly spirit. Life responds to mentality. Life submits to identity. You attract not what you wish for, not what you dream about, not what you cry, for you attract what your mind is aligned with. When your mind carries the posture of kingship, your environment cannot remain ordinary. When your thoughts carry the fragrance of dominion, your life cannot smell like defeat. The world you see on the outside is a reflection of the throne you build on the inside. If the throne in your mind is shaky, your life becomes shaky. But if the throne in your mind is stable, strong, rooted in faith, grounded in purpose, your life begins to reflect that stability. Think of a king for a moment. A king does not beg. A king does not chase validation. A king does not panic when storms rise. A king makes decisions from vision, not emotion. A king speaks from conviction, not confusion. A king believes in the authority given to him. When you adopt this posture internally, you stop being at the mercy of circumstance. You stop being controlled by the noise around you. You stop lowering your standard to fit the expectations of people who do not know the weight of your calling. You begin to walk with the calmness of one who knows that destiny cannot be stolen, purpose cannot be disrupted, and what belongs to you cannot be taken by another. Listen carefully. The greatest battles are fought in the mind. The enemy of your soul is not afraid of your talent. He is not afraid of your gift. He is not afraid of your potential. What he fears is your mentality, because when your mind wakes up, everything in your life rises. When your mind becomes aligned, opportunities begin to locate you. When your mind becomes disciplined, doors open that once seemed impossible. When your mind thinks like a king, fear loses its influence. The world that once intimidated you becomes the world you now influence. Many people pray for change, yet carry the mentality of a captive. They want promotion, but think like slaves. They want breakthroughs, but believe like victims. They want abundance, but speak words of lack. They want honor, but carry insecurity. You cannot attract the life of a king with the mind of a beggar. You cannot manifest greatness with a small mindset. Transformation begins when you change the way you think. Transformation begins when you stop negotiating with fear. Transformation begins when you say, enough. I was not created to crawl. I was created to stand tall, to walk with purpose, to speak with authority, to live with dignity. Thinking like a king does not mean arrogance. It does not mean pride. It does not mean looking down on people. Thinking like a king means understanding that your life has value. Thinking like a king means knowing that you carry divine assignment. Thinking like a king means refusing to allow circumstances to define your identity. Thinking like a king means walking with the confidence that your destiny has been authored by the one who never fails. When you think like a king, you stop reacting to everything. You stop allowing noise to dictate your direction. You stop letting people with no vision influence your decisions. You begin to choose battles wisely. You begin to speak less and observe more. You begin to operate from a higher dimension of understanding. A king does not respond to everything because not everything is worthy of a response. A king does not chase every argument because not every argument leads to destiny. A king is strategic. A king is intentional. A king understands that his time is precious and his energy must be invested, not wasted. Life begins to respect you when you respect yourself. Opportunities begin to honor you when you honor your assignment. Doors begin to open when your identity becomes aligned with your purpose. Many people struggle not because life is against them, but because their mindset is not ready to receive the level they are praying for. You cannot hold a royal blessing with a fearful mind. You cannot sit on the throne of destiny while thinking like someone unworthy of greatness. Raise your thoughts. Raise your expectations. Raise your spiritual posture. When your mind rises, your life rises with it. When your thinking expands, your world expands. The crown is not placed on your head first, it is placed in your mind. If you carry kingship mentally, you will manifest kingship physically. Look at your environment. Look at your habits. Look at your speech. Look at your reactions. Ask yourself, is this how a king would respond? Is this how a king would speak? Is this how a king would live? Kings are not led by feelings. They are led by purpose. Kings do not fear the future, they shape it. Kings do not surrender to pressure. They stand firm even when the atmosphere is shaking. When you begin to think like this, you attract people who understand your calling, not people who drain your energy. You attract opportunities that elevate you, not distractions that derail you. You attract strength, clarity, discipline, resources, progress. Let me tell you something deep. A king is aware of the unseen. A king knows that the invisible realm shapes the visible realm. A king understands that words are not just sound, they are seeds. Every word you speak carries authority. Every thought you entertain carries influence. Every belief you hold creates atmosphere. When you speak like a king, your words command alignment. When you think like a king, your thoughts summon opportunity. When you move like a king, your steps attract provision. Many people are defeated not because the enemy is strong, but because their mind is undisciplined. The undisciplined mind invites confusion. The undisciplined mind attracts fear. The undisciplined mind welcomes anxiety. But the mind of a king is focused. The mind of a king is steady. The mind of a king is anchored in truth. The mind of a king is unmoved by storms. When your thoughts are organized, your life becomes organized. When your inner world is stable, your outer world begins to respond with stability. Hear me. A king prepares before speaking. A king listens before acting. A king seeks wisdom before making decisions. A king does not rush. A king does not panic. A king is not controlled by the chaos around him. This is why kings attract loyalty, respect, honor, and influence. Because people can feel stability. People can feel clarity. People can feel authenticity. People can feel when a person knows who he is. This is the reason many of you are misunderstood. You are thinking like a king, but surrounded by people with the mindset of servants. You are walking with vision, but surrounded by people who only see the present moment. You are dreaming big, but surrounded by people who fear big. You cannot expect people who do not think like you to understand the throne you are being prepared for. You are not meant to fit into their level because you were created to rise above it. When you think like a king, You become selective with your associations. You begin to guard your peace. You begin to protect your energy. You begin to distance yourself from negativity. You begin to reject anything that does not align with your destiny. The crown you carry requires a certain environment. Your spirit cannot grow where dishonor lives. Your purpose cannot breathe where doubt is celebrated. Your destiny cannot shine in the presence of people who belittle your calling. Thinking like a king means you forgive quickly, because unforgiveness is a chain and kings do not walk in chains. Thinking like a king means you speak blessings, not curses, because kings understand the power of proclamation. Thinking like a king means you rise above offense, because offense lowers your vibration and kings operate from higher ground. Your life begins to attract miracles when your posture remains steady in the midst of storms. Your life begins to attract divine direction when your heart remains humble, even in moments of victory. Your life begins to attract provision when your mind remains focused on purpose, not pressure. A king is calm because he knows who he is. A king is unshaken because he knows the authority behind him. A king is fearless because he understands that his assignment is protected. Many of you are sitting here today carrying potential that has not been activated simply because your thoughts have not caught up with your destiny. You must begin to think in alignment with where you are going, not where you came from. The past is a shadow. Your future is substance. The past is a classroom. Your future is a kingdom. You cannot build tomorrow with yesterday's mindset. You cannot rise into destiny while holding on to the mentality that once kept you small. Lift your thoughts. Shift your vocabulary. Strengthen your expectations. Walk with the dignity of someone who knows that greatness is not a dream, it is a calling. When you begin to speak differently, heaven responds differently. When you think differently, your path becomes different. When you move differently, people begin to treat you differently. There is a version of you that is waiting on the other side of a mental shift. There is a future that belongs to the king in you, not the timid version of you. There is a level of influence, impact, and authority that will only manifest when your mind becomes aligned with your true identity. You are not called to be ordinary. You are not called to live in fear. You are not called to walk in confusion. You are not called to hide behind excuses. You are called to rise. You are called to speak with authority. You are called to walk with confidence. You are called to influence, not be influenced. You are called to lead, not be pushed by circumstance. You are called to stand like a king, think like a king, and attract the life that belongs to kings. And when you begin to walk in this revelation, everything around you will begin to shift. Your relationships, your opportunities, your peace, your resilience, your clarity, your strength, because the world responds to identity. When you think like a king, creation begins to honor you. When you think like a king, the path ahead becomes brighter. When you think like a king, favor begins to locate you without you chasing it. Walk with the posture of someone crowned by purpose. Think with the clarity of someone backed by divine assignment. Speak with the authority of someone who knows that destiny bows to a disciplined mind. Live with the strength of someone who understands that kingship is not a position, it is a mindset. And when your mind becomes royal, your life becomes unstoppable. Kings attract victory because their thoughts refuse to negotiate with doubt. The mind of a king is a battlefield, And the first war is always fought within. Every victory starts with an internal declaration. I will not allow fear, hesitation, or uncertainty to dictate my steps. The moment a king begins to negotiate with doubt, he opens the door for defeat. Doubt is the thief of destiny. Doubt is the enemy of purpose. Doubt is the invisible chain that keeps greatness out of reach. You cannot walk in victory if your mind wavers between confidence and uncertainty. Victory is a harvest and doubt is a weed. If you plant doubt, you will reap failure. If you nurture doubt, your life will bear the fruit of hesitation. Kings understand that the first victory is not over circumstances, but over the inner voice that says, I cannot. Many people are defeated before they even try because they entertain doubt. They speak words of uncertainty. They hesitate in action. They question whether they are capable of receiving the blessings that have been prepared for them. But kings know that their authority does not come from validation. It comes from the alignment of spirit and purpose. They do not negotiate with doubt because doubt is a liar. Doubt whispers lies like, you are not enough, you will fail. The opportunity is lost, the dream is impossible. The king silences that voice before it can take root. The king reminds himself that he is appointed by divine will, that his calling is written in eternity, and that failure is never a permanent state for those who refuse to negotiate with doubt. You must understand this principle. The mind obeys what it is trained to believe. If you feed it fear, insecurity, and uncertainty, your life will mirror those thoughts. But if you feed your mind faith, discipline, and confidence, your life will begin to reflect victory even before the battle is visible. Kings attract victory because their minds are fortresses. Every thought is a soldier, every belief is a weapon, and every conviction is a shield. Doubt has no place in a mind that has been disciplined to expect triumph. You cannot have the life of a king while entertaining the spirit of a pauper. Doubt and kingship cannot coexist because one destroys the other. Consider this: the moment doubt enters, it clouds your judgment. The moment doubt speaks, it paralyzes action. The moment doubt is entertained, it delays destiny. Many of you are waiting for perfect conditions, for guaranteed success, for all doors to align before you act. That is doubt. That is fear disguised as prudence. Kings do not wait for circumstances to be perfect. They make circumstances submit to their faith. Victory comes not to the timid, not to the hesitant, not to the negotiators of doubt, but to those whose minds are unwavering, whose thoughts are disciplined, and whose spirits refuse to compromise. You must train your mind to reject every whisper of doubt. Every time you hear, I am not ready, replace it with, I am appointed, I am equipped, I am more than able. Every time fear says, you might fail, respond with, failure is not permanent, victory is my inheritance. Every time limitation says, this is impossible, declare, with God and purpose aligned. All things are possible. Kings do not negotiate because negotiation is weakness. Kings do not pause because pause is indecision. Kings act, move, and speak from a place of certainty that comes from faith, vision, and understanding. Doubt is often subtle. It does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers softly in the mind, planting seeds of indecision. It comes disguised as caution, advice, or practicality. Many people fall into this trap, thinking they are being wise when they are actually surrendering to fear. A king sees doubt for what it is, a trap. A king sees hesitation for what it is, a roadblock. A king sees fear for what it is, an illusion. And kings refuse to negotiate with illusions because their eyes are fixed on reality as it was designed to be, not as it appears to be. Victory belongs to those who see beyond appearances and act with faith, courage, and unshakable resolve. Let me remind you, your mind is the first battlefield. If you allow doubt to take root, it will manifest in your decisions, your words, your actions, and eventually your destiny. The king fights with his thoughts first. The king disciplines his mind daily, guarding it against negative influence, against toxic voices, against internal hesitation. He feeds it truth. He strengthens it with faith. He empowers it with vision. He does not negotiate with doubt, because he knows that negotiation is surrender, and surrender has no place on the path of kingship. Every great victory recorded in history began with this principle: refusal to negotiate with doubt. Every leader, every prophet, every conqueror first overcame the inner war before the outer war. You may be facing mountains, storms, impossible odds, and overwhelming opposition, but your first victory begins within. When your mind refuses to bargain with doubt, the external world must bow. The environment, the people, the opportunities, and the resources align themselves with the mental posture of victory. That is why kings attract everything they need. They refuse to negotiate with doubt, and the world has no choice but to respond to a mind that is unwavering. Many people pray for breakthrough but continue to entertain doubt. They ask for favor but hesitate when doors appear. They speak of faith but walk in fear. That is inconsistency. That is why their victories are delayed. Kings are consistent. Kings speak faith even when the sky is gray. Kings act with courage even when obstacles loom. Kings move forward even when the path is unclear. Doubt cannot survive in the presence of consistency, determination, and unshakable belief. When your thoughts refuse to negotiate with doubt, your life becomes a magnet for alignment, opportunity, and supernatural intervention. Victory is attracted by certainty. Victory is magnetized by clarity. Victory responds to conviction. Kings do not negotiate because they understand that negotiation is a compromise of power. Negotiation with doubt weakens authority. Negotiation with hesitation delays destiny. Negotiation with fear invites failure. The king knows that every victory requires an uncompromising mind, an unyielding spirit, and a refusal to entertain what has no place in the realm of success. The throne is not given to those who doubt. It is inherited by those who refuse to negotiate with doubt, who discipline their thoughts, and who act with faith beyond circumstance. You must also understand the company you keep. Doubt is contagious. Surround yourself with voices that question, fear, or limit, and you will inherit their doubts. But surround yourself with minds that are disciplined, spirits that are focused, and hearts that are courageous, and your doubt will be silenced. Kings understand that environment influences thought. Kings do not allow negativity to enter their fortress. Kings do not allow uncertainty to sit at the table. Kings are selective because victory requires purity of thought, strength of spirit, and clarity of vision. Your mind is the throne room of destiny, and you must guard it carefully. Action without conviction is wasted effort. Prayer without belief is empty. Vision without refusal to negotiate with doubt is fragile. Kings act with certainty. Kings declare with confidence. Kings step forward even when fear tries to whisper, stop. They understand that the law of attraction, the law of alignment, the law of destiny responds first to the mind. Thoughts create life. Belief shapes reality. The king who refuses to negotiate with doubt commands life, circumstance, and opportunity to move in his favor. Look at your own life. How many doors have you left closed because of hesitation? How many chances have you missed because you entertained doubt? How many dreams remain dormant because your thoughts could not refuse negotiation with uncertainty? Victory is not reserved for the cautious or the hesitant. Victory is reserved for those whose minds are disciplined, whose thoughts are unwavering, and whose spirits refuse to compromise. Kings understand this principle, and that is why they attract victory while the ordinary struggle. You must train your thoughts daily. Refuse to allow doubt to linger. When fear tries to speak, remind it, I am appointed, I am chosen, I am capable. When insecurity tries to influence your steps, remind it, my calling is greater than my circumstances. When uncertainty tries to stop you, declare, victory is my inheritance because my mind refuses to negotiate with doubt. Every day, every moment, every situation is an opportunity to strengthen your mental posture. Victory is not accidental. Victory is the result of repeated discipline, repeated declarations, and repeated refusal to negotiate with doubt. Understand that your words are seeds. Every time you speak doubt, you plant defeat. Every time you speak fear, you water hesitation. But every time you speak faith, you sow victory. Every time you affirm your authority, you cultivate triumph. Kings know the power of words because they know the power of thought. They refuse to negotiate with doubt because doubt undermines the power of their declarations. They refuse to negotiate because their words and thoughts must align with destiny. Their mind is not a battlefield. It is a throne, and every occupant of the throne is victory-minded. Do not underestimate the subtlety of doubt. It can appear as a question, a hesitation, or a desire for reassurance. Many of you have allowed doubt to delay blessings, postpone promotions, and withhold breakthrough. But a king sees this and refuses. He says, I will not negotiate. I will not bargain. I will not compromise. He disciplines his mind. He strengthens his resolve. He declares faith. He acts with courage, and gradually, steadily, without wavering, victory begins to manifest because the thoughts that refuse to negotiate with doubt cannot be stopped. The enemy will try to whisper, you cannot do this. It is impossible. You are too weak. You are too late. You are not ready. These are the lies of doubt. Kings have learned to recognize these lies and reject them immediately. Kings understand that their identity, their calling, and their purpose are stronger than any temporary fear. They know that what is written in eternity cannot be undone by circumstance. They know that victory is not a matter of chance, but a matter of mental posture. Every step you take must be guided by a mind that refuses to negotiate with doubt. Every decision must flow from a place of confidence and clarity. Every plan must be executed with courage and consistency. Kings do not pause for fear. Kings do not linger in hesitation. Kings do not bargain with uncertainty. Kings move because their thoughts are anchored, their convictions are clear, and their focus is unwavering. Victory responds to this kind of mental posture because the universe cannot resist a mind that refuses to bend to doubt. The principle is simple but profound. Doubt is negotiable for ordinary minds, but victory is reserved for the mind that refuses to compromise. Kings attract victory because they are unshakable within. Kings attract resources because their thoughts are disciplined. Kings attract loyalty because their minds are aligned with authority. Kings attract opportunities because their mental posture is firm. And kings attract everything necessary for triumph because they refuse to negotiate with the very thing that destroys dreams, doubt. You must commit today to refuse negotiation, refuse hesitation, refuse fear, refuse insecurity, refuse uncertainty. Your mind is your kingdom. Your thoughts are your soldiers. Your beliefs are your weapons. And the throne of victory awaits those who refuse to allow doubt to sit, speak, or influence. Kings attract victory because they understand this secret. The battlefield is the mind, and the mind that refuses to negotiate with doubt cannot be defeated. Your victory will not depend on luck, circumstance, or the approval of others. Your victory will be determined by the strength of your thoughts, the discipline of your mind, and the refusal to negotiate with anything that opposes purpose. Doubt is not stronger than faith. Fear is not stronger than conviction. Uncertainty is not stronger than a mind trained in kingship. You attract everything when your thoughts are disciplined, anchored, and unwavering. And kings attract victory first because their thoughts refuse to negotiate with doubt. Every time you step into a challenge, remember this, the outcome is determined not only by external effort, but by internal posture. If doubt negotiates, your steps waver, your words falter, and your power diminishes. But if doubt is refused, your steps are steady, your words are confident, and your authority multiplies. Kings understand this. They understand that victory is not an accident. Victory is a manifestation of the mind aligned with purpose and refusing to compromise with doubt.